Hey Comeca family, welcome back to another edition of the Comeca Connection. Now this week we're talking all about foundation. And what better place to start that than here at the beach? Now, when we think of foundation, a lot of us think of maybe the groundwork of something. And as you can see in front of me, I have built two sandcastles. Here, one in the sand, and then this other one right here on the brick. Now, I bet you're thinking at home, well, this one looks, like it's gonna last really, really long, and this one's in a place of trouble. And I wanna remind you guys, that Jesus talks about this at one point. So let's dive into the word, and we're gonna go to Matthew chapter 7, verse 24. And it says, build on a rock. And so it goes like this. Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house. And it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock. But everyone who hears these sayings of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. And so it was that Jesus had ended these sayings, that the people were astonished at his teachings, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. It's such a cool verse and piece of scripture, because it talks about what is our foundation. What are we building our house upon? Are we building it on our brick, or are we building it in the sand? Are we keeping Jesus at the center of all that we do? Now, we're going to test out this theory, so I have my flood water here. And we're going to see if our house on the rock or house on the sand survives. And so, just like it said in the scripture, the rain fell and the floods came. You see, just like what Jesus was saying, it's true. The rains came, the winds blew, the floods came. And just like our house on the sand, it crumbled. If we don't keep Jesus at the center of what we do, and we don't have him as our foundation, we're going to be just like our foundation here in the sand. Now, here's the thing, everybody, is that while it's great to have Jesus at our foundation, we have to know that sometimes floods, sometimes bad things are going to happen, and we're going to have to remember what's at the center, because the floods will come, the storms will come, and we have to remember that to keep him at the center. He is there with us through the good and the bad, and through all sorts of things, especially right now with COVID-19. So I want you guys to remember today and through this week, all about foundation, that what are you building your foundation on? Is it built on rock? Is it built on solid ground? Or is it built on sand? And if it's built on sand, maybe, ask yourself a question of, how can I build on more of a solid ground? What would get me there? Now this week we're going to talk about kind of what gets you there. And so listen in, make sure you really listen in, take notes, and remember that you guys aren't alone on this journey. That you have your pastors, you have your parents, you have the Bible, you have the Word that you can dive into, and you have us. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.